Hot damn ho, here we go again.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Renee if you are new here. Now for episode 2 of Life and Style, we are featuring none other than Little Kim, okay? I wanted to do a life and style based around her because I feel like Kim does not get the respect that she deserves, especially for the amount of time that she's put into the music industry. People love to talk about her surgeries and take away from all the work she's put in over the years. So I decided I'm going to pay my own respect to our girl. I'm going to talk about everything from her colorful wigs to her risque looks over the years, even the college course that was made about her, if you guys didn't know. So if you're interested, stay tuned. Now, even before Little Kim became famous, she was always that girl in Brooklyn, which is where she's from. She's always been about her labels. We see now that a lot of people, they like to name it logo mania. Kim was doing that before it was even a thing. I know we look back on like the earlier hip hop days, especially like the earlier 90s with like Dapper Dan. He was very infamous for getting all of the designer labels and sort of customizing it, and that's really where the logomania even really came from. But you know, they gentrified everything, but that's neither here nor there. From the beginning, when Kim burst onto the scene, she always had a risque sense of style to her. Her in collaboration with Misa Hilton, which is also a fashion stylist who I feel like doesn't get the credit that she deserves. Them two paired together created magic. Kim was the first of her kind, the only of her kind that literally took it there. She had sex appeal and she wasn't afraid to be sexy. For that time, now everyone has everything hanging out, but at that time, no one was really doing that, and she was very liberated as a woman. One of Kim's most iconic and known photos of her is from her first studio album, Hardcore, where she was in that leopard ensemble, squatted, squatted down, everything bust wide open, whole of her front just out the door. And that really pushed the envelopes. That poster was probably on everyone's prison's wall back in the day, okay? To me, that album cover and that album art really solidified Kim as a sex symbol. She really pushed the envelope for that time and she was with it. She wasn't holding back. That picture was epitome Little Kim, even epitome 90s style, especially with a lot of the animal print and the fur and the color. To me, Little Kim really, especially for the women, she brought the runway into hip hop. Everything about her, I always say music and fashion goes hand in hand. She was definitely a Chanel girl, Versace girl, Gucci girl, Louis Vuitton girl, but I loved all of her Chanel looks when I was researching some of her, like, especially like her streetwear, just her day-to-day. The girl was Chanel down and everything always matched, especially back in the day. Like all that non-match, you had to match from head to toe. You can see a lot of Kim's influence on a lot of the rap girls that we see today and a lot of just the everyday girl that we see today. When it comes to Little Kim's style, her wigs were a major part of her entire look. A lot of the times her wigs matched her outfit, and cue the Crush on You video. That video was a play on the Oz. If you guys are familiar with the Oz, not the Wizard of Oz, but the Oz version with Diana Ross and Michael Jackson, where they had the scene where they had different colors. Like the entire scene, everyone was wearing red, or the entire scene, everyone was wearing green. Back when videos were videos and they had the budget, okay? Or they went over budget, but they had a vision and they wanted to bring it to life. Kim had on her red look with her red wigs. She had on her green looks with her green wigs, purple, blue, and so on and so forth. And a lot of things I noticed from that video, a lot of the other women in the industry were also in this. I feel like they had like a lot of camaraderie. Whether they hated each other on the low, they all would be in each other's videos, which I loved. Also, when it came to Little Kim and her wigs, she would wear wigs that had the designer logos in them. I've seen Kim with Chanel in her wig. I've seen her with Versace's logo in her wig. I've seen her with Fendi logo in her wig. Who else, even to this day, who else do you see doing that? Who else do you see doing that? I will wait. Revolutionary, okay? Little Kim crawled so a lot of the women today could walk. I remember there was a scene when she appeared, either it was the Ricky Lake show or Jenny Jones. I'm not 100% sure, but I will put a clip in if I can find it or if it's clear enough, okay? Because I was way in the 90s and she was definitely judged and she took a lot of brunt of the judgment just for the sake of her art.
For me, being a young, positive, black young woman doing my thing, you know what I'm saying, and getting over a hump. And I want you to make sure you keep God in your life. And me, as an older person to you, I want you to, be sure, I feel that you're too young to be having sex.
I feel like although she had her sexual persona and she bared a brunt of the judgment from others, she always preached, go to school to young girls, get your degree, work hard. She always made sure to let them know what is really important. Now moving on to Kim's love affair. Now she's one person that does not play with Peter, okay? I've seen her square up with them. Like, try her if you want to, okay? Kim has a plethora of furs and in various different colors, and again they would match her wigs, which I loved. I did a video a while ago discussing fur and I found so many photos of her in the different color furs that she owns, and it was just so different, and it was luxe in her own way.
It's a hobby that I put some money into and time.
That's an understatement.
It was very glam, but still hip hop, still high fashion. Like, she just merged everything all together and still remained her. She did push the envelope. She'll have a whole fur bikini on. Who's wearing that? And we know she's not going swimming in it, but it's so unique to her. If it's different, she's gonna rock it. Another very iconic moment that Kim had was the pasty moment. Now let me know if you remember that. If you don't, you're too young, okay? Kim showed up to an award show with a purple jumpsuit. She looked like a mermaid with a long purple wig on, and on one boob she had a pasty. No one has ever done that before. When I tell you, the people went crazy, and what made the moment even more spectacular was on stage, her and Diana Ross were presenting, and Diana Ross like bounced her boob, and it was because she was just so intrigued by it. So it was just hilarious, and that is always a historic moment in music history if you remember that. Now I know Megan Thee Stallion recently wore a look to the Vanity Fair party and she had the pasties on, and even now still that pushes the envelope in 2025. So imagine the backlash Kim had to bear back then, and she still did it. She's done it. She did it plenty of times even after that. She didn't care, all for the sake of fashion, okay? Now, with every icon comes evolution, particularly a style evolution. And during this particular time in Little Kim's life, she was on trial. This was a very, very trying time for her, but I feel like it revolutionized court fashion. If you see now, the girls who tend to be a little bit more risque in their everyday looks or on their red carpet, they come to court more polished. They come to court more buttoned up because image is everything, especially when you're trying not to go to jail, okay? Win or lose, you come correct. Now let's take a look at the different looks that Kim wore to court. During her trial, she still wore her luxurious furs, but not as many colors were involved from what I see. She had on big, beautiful sunglasses, more tailored suits, tailored skirt suits. She wore some beautiful white and ivory colors, which tend to give off a more pure and innocent type of energy, especially when going to court. That's the type of energy you're trying to give off, okay? It's so funny how colors play such an important part in the energy and the aura that you give off and what you're trying to convey to people. And even with these more conservative, more business-like looks, you can still see Little Kim still being true to herself. Everything matched, everything was glam, but again, it gave off that she meant business. It gave off I'm innocent. It gave off I'm not trying to go to jail, okay? Even though she did end up going to prison for about a year, if I'm not mistaken, she said she did Fed time. She ended up going to jail, but again, like I said, her court fashion revolutionized how the girls and boys show up in the courtroom nowadays when they're trying to prove their innocence, okay? Now, if you are a real fan, you know that a whole college course was made in the name of Little Kim. And the course was called Little Kim, The Birth of the Bad Bitch. Yes, okay? Very fitting for a queen, okay? I knew she had a college course, but I didn't know the specifics. So that's why I want to go over a little bit more of the details with you guys. So the class was taught in 2017 at Hunter College. Overview of the course was Little Kim's impact on hip hop, pop culture, and feminism. It examined her image, her lyrics, and her impact on societal norms, which we all know ain't normal. It also compared her artistry to historical figures. A lot of times, because we judge the book by its cover, we think that she's so different, or oh my god, I could never do that. When you really look back, you ever hear music from like the 1920s? They were a mess too. Trust me, it didn't start with Little Kim. It did not. They were on the Chitlin Circus singing about them front and bati the whole nine. You have to read. Sometimes you have to watch documentaries to get to know the real. Okay? Also, some of the themes discussed in the course, I'm just going to read directly off my computer, are sexual liberation and agency, fashion as power and rebellion, language and lyricism, influence on future generations. Influence on future generations, i.e. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, and Meg. I do find it important to discuss the more academic side to Little Kim just because it adds seriousness to her legacy. It is a different form of feminism besides what we've really been taught or seen in the media. It just looks a bit different, and we all could stand to learn from the opposite side. Sometimes I can be a little bit more conservative in my thoughts. Would I want my daughter to skin out her pum pum, skin out her front on TV and music videos? No, but I do feel like there is an empowerment in the way Little Kim makes her music, and it's her art, and people are sensitive about their art, okay? Little Kim was part of an industry that is very vain, and it's very hard to stay true to yourself and very hard to actually love yourself. The constant urge to change yourself, to nip this and tuck that, and I feel like a lot of people always have something to say about the surgeries that Little Kim has had. And I get it. It is a bit extreme. And she was so beautiful. She's still beautiful. But I feel like a lot of people are headed down, if not are on the same path that she is in, but people have so much to say. There's a lot of Little Kims walking around here nowadays. It is hard to think you're beautiful in an industry where the beauty standards is through the roof. There's always some kind of surgery, and it's addictive. And I wish she would have saw her beauty even back then. And not to blame it on a man, but you know, Biggie M. I feel like he had a lot to do with a lot of the things that she's done to herself. But that's neither here nor there. Now, to end the video, I just wanted to showcase my favorite Little Kim fashion moment, and that is the Quiet Storm video with Mobb Deep. That entire video was styled to perfection. The dancing that she even did in the video, which wasn't really dancing, it was a bop. Now it's like her signature that she does, you know? I can't dance, but you know, like a plane. That's her signature move. The look from head to toe was just seamless, and just her raw, that was in her, my favorite verse from Little Kim is that Mobb Deep video, that remix that she did. The whole look of just the dark lights and the head to toe. That's how I had to start the video with that, a clip from that video. Okay, so that was all I had for today. Hope you guys enjoyed this little breakdown I did of Kimmy, Queen Bee. Now, I didn't take too much notes. I do these videos based off of my love for these artists, so hopefully it wasn't all over the place. But let me know if you love Little Kim and what is your favorite fashion moment from her. She's just the epitome of glam and just the over-the-top lifestyle, you know? So as always, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and hit the notification bell wherever it is on the screen. Follow me on all my social media channels. I am Renee Lennox on everything, and I'm finally back on Instagram, so I'll be over there as well. And until next time, bye.